To me, it's like everybody's scared of the government, you know what I'm saying? Because they killed Tupac and they killed Biggie Smalls. I don't care what y'all say, that's my seeing. Who cares? I'm just letting y'all know, y'all can be afraid of the government all y'all want to. Y'all been afraid of the government for 29 years. Y'all ain't telling me I was Jesus, so it's okay. I love you. Don't, you know, I'm just letting y'all know all that afraid of the government stuff, you know what I'm saying? That's dead in my life.
Oh, Tupac was murdered without question, Tupac. The FBI had Tupac and Big, for that matter, under surveillance for at least a week prior to the murder. So that means even the murder was caught on tape by the FBI. Now, mind you, Pac was a serious threat. His mother was Afeni Shakur, former leader of the New York City Panthers. This is the same black woman who walked into a New York City federal courthouse pregnant with Tupac and defended herself and 20 other Panthers from that famous Panther 21 trial when they were charged with plotting to blow up federal buildings, which was nothing but a COINTELPRO setup. Pregnant with Pac, no legal experience. This black woman defends herself and all 20 of them, 21 of them walk out of prison. So naturally, the child of that has to be watched. Geronimo Pratt, his godfather, Mutulu Shakur, I believe possibly the stepfather. At the time of his death, he was working to politicize the Crips and the Bloods in LA. Tupac was a threat. The #1 selling rapper in the world, okay, is a revolutionary. They could not allow that. After he split from Death Row, Tupac was on his way to do some revolutionary things, so they cut him down before he could grow.
Your parents were in the Black Panther Party. That was kind of like their job.
Yeah, it was. My mother was in the Black Panther Party. She was like at a high position, which was like unheard of, because of course there was sexism even in the Panthers. So, and my stepfather at the time, Mutulu Shakur, he was also like a well-known like revolutionary. True, all of my roots to the struggle are real deep.
Rapper Tupac Shakur's stepfather is being released from prison after over 35 years. Mutulu Shakur was an activist and acupuncturist in the 1960s and 70s who worked closely with the Black Panther Party and other activist groups. He was also the target of an illegal FBI infiltration program called COINTELPRO that targeted people and organizations like the Black Panther Party, Martin Luther King Jr., the American Indian Movement, and more. In 1988, Mutulu was sent to prison for his involvement in the robbery of a bank truck and assisting in the escape of another activist, Assata Shakur. Under the rules of his sentencing, Mutulu has been eligible for release since 2016. But despite a clean record in prison and a reputation for positively mentoring dozens of now formerly incarcerated men, the U.S. Parole Commission refused to release him until recently. For decades, many have called for his release and considered him a political prisoner being kept in prison for the work he's done as an activist. His stepson even mentioned him in songs along with other imprisoned black activists.
And then my godfather, Geronimo Pratt.
Elmer Geronimo Pratt was a decorated war hero, Black Panther leader, and human rights warrior. Geronimo served 2 tours in Vietnam, racking up Bronze Stars, a Silver Star, and Purple Hearts. He went on to attend UCLA on the GI Bill and gets recruited into the Black Panther Party by Bunchy Carter and John Huggins. The Army trained him for war. Now he was fighting for black liberation. J. Edgar Hoover and his boys were shook by this sharp, fearless militant dude who wasn't going to just shut up and take the injustice. So they framed him for a 1968 murder in Santa Monica, even though the man was 400 miles away in Oakland at the time. But the prosecution hid that info, let a shady police informant testify, and boom, Geronimo Pratt was sentenced to life.
You know, he was like, had a top official rank position with the Panthers on the West Coast.
Right, and we just mentioned he's, of course, serving a life sentence right now. Your mom was carrying you when she went to jail the first time. That's a very interesting story in itself. What happened to her? Why was she in jail?
Because, like, you know, there's racism. So when the Panthers hit, the government panicked, and they had a thing called a COINTELPRO, and they felt like the Panthers were detrimental to American society, so they raided every Panthers house, especially the ones who they felt like could do the most damage as an orator. So my mother was 9 months pregnant, 7 months pregnant. They put a match to the door and said, "Fire, fire." And, it's like 5 in the morning, so my mother opened the door and they just burst in, put a shotgun to her pregnant belly, and put a gun to her head and said, "Don't move. Bye, bye, bye. You're under arrest."
It ain't no doubt about it. Afeni Shakur, the mother of Tupac Shakur, her level of intelligence was off the charts. Did you know that Afeni Shakur was facing life on trial, acting as her own defense attorney, and won? In April of 1969, her and 20 other Black Panthers were arrested and charged with several counts of conspiracy to bomb police stations and other places in New York. These were lies that were conducted by the FBI, who literally had undercover police infiltrate the Black Panther Party. She was facing 350 years if she lost. She did all of this while pregnant with Tupac in her belly.
What groups did you infiltrate in New York?
It was the Black Panther Party, Queens section. I only stayed with that assignment for 2.5 days. We found out then that it was infiltrated heavily by the New York Police Department.
And there was no need for your service?
There was no need for my services. People are into a fantasy world when they believe that the Federal Bureau of Investigation finds out what it finds out through the method of scientific investigation. That's not the name of the game. The name of the game is find someone that is close to that man or can get close to that man.
Kevin Hackey is an FBI agent that was working for the FBI, also was working for Death Row. Death Row didn't know that he was undercover agent for the FBI, and he said after Tupac Shakur's death that Suge Knight and Reggie Wright Jr. are responsible for the murder of Tupac Shakur.
I'm offering Reggie right now $100K to take a polygraph. That he had no involvement whatsoever to do with Tupac's killing.
Hackey, according to these court filings, worked for 2 years as an undercover agent for the FBI and ATF, helping the feds.
To investigate Marion Knight and Death Row Records for racketeering violations.
And Hackey, a former Compton School District police officer who worked off-duty hours as a Tupac bodyguard, now reveals to Fox 11 News an interesting series of events. He says, here at the House of Blues in 1996, an off-duty Santa Monica cop working security confiscated a .40 caliber Glock handgun similar to this from a member of Tupac Shakur's entourage.
About 2 weeks after that, I was contacted by Reggie to go over to Santa Monica Police Department to pick up this firearm.
Hackey says he first showed the handgun to his FBI handlers and then turned it over to Reggie Wright Jr. A month later in Las Vegas, investigators say it was a .40 Glock handgun that killed Tupac Shakur. Hackey believes the murder weapon was the same gun he gave Reggie Wright Jr.
I believe it is.
And Hackey says 6 months after Tupac's murder, he had another conversation with Reggie Jr. about the missing handgun. It didn't go well.
After that, Reggie told me, hey, it ain't given time. I have the money, I have the people, I can have you killed, it ain't given time.
Pac was a powerful nigga too. Pac knew about all that shit. Why you think they murdered that nigga? It wasn't no rap war. It wasn't because he jumped that nigga Orlando. No. That's a motherfucking lie. The government killed Pac. The feds had something to do with it. They set that nigga up. And they had something to do with Biggie getting killed too. And then they tried to make it look like a rap war. Yo, if Pac was still alive, we would be on the same team. Why you think I said that in my rhyme on the Return of the Mac? If Pac was still alive, we'd be on the same team. We got bigger fish to fry than that nigga Supreme. And when the bigger fish I'm talking about is this motherfucking government.
The government has something to do with this. You know what I'm saying? Did the government do this? Did they build the feud between East and West? You know what I mean? Did they use that to turn us against one another? So at this point, it's like, who can we trust? We don't know. So this is where you be still and be quiet and let the chips roll where they roll.
It's specific as to what you could talk about and what you can't talk about. And the East Coast, West Coast thing is something that the journalists and people are making up just to get paid off. And the East Coast, West Coast thing is something that the journalists and people are making up just to get paid off.
It would never be the same without Tupac and Biggie. And I'm going to end it here because I knew Pac and Biggie loved each other. When I was in the hotel, Pac in the hotel, and he talking to Biggie before Pac passed away. He wasn't mad at Biggie like, I hate this motherfucker. He was more hurt because he felt that Biggie had something to do with the shit in the studio in New York. And they was talking, I could tell it was two men that cared about each other. And you know what I mean? I'm thinking about making history again. I'm like, man, y'all see, it seems like y'all love each other. With me hating love relationship, I said the best way to end all this is do a 4 CD disc on Death Row.
Did you know that Biggie was both sad and shocked when Tupac passed away? In a 1997 BET interview, Biggie was asked how he felt about Tupac's recent passing after he was shot in Las Vegas. Here's what he had to say.
Pac is a strong dude, yo. I know dude, you know what I'm saying? Right. He real strong. So when it was like he got shot, I was just more like, again?
Later in the interview, Biggie said he thought Tupac would survive, like he did in 1994 when he was shot 5 times. Despite their drama, he was shocked when he heard Tupac had died and added that he never wanted anything like this to happen to him.
If they really, truly want to solve the Pac murder, they would have done it years ago. Unfortunately, the government, I don't even think they really care about solving the death of Pac, the murder of Pac. So the government, from the time that I met Pac until the time that he died, he was always in odds with the law enforcement. He was always in odds. He shot 2 off-duty police. Police is like a gang in America. Police, we know that, like, police is like a gang. Not only that, in Los Angeles, they really doing some investigation where they find out that there's cliques within the LAPD. Like, they really got gangs, like, it's crazy. So Pac shot 2 off-duty police. The police is like a gang, national, in the whole USA. So if you upset, you do something against they so-called brothers in blue, and whether it's in Atlanta, you on the radar of all the police across America. They didn't really like Pac because of that. So therefore, when Pac died, you think they really cared about solving his murder? It was like, to them, he was like, okay, we got rid of him.
Reggie provided a lot of information. He was in a very high-level position of Death Row Records. He was very aware of what we were doing in terms of investigations, numerous investigations on Death Row Records and Suge Knight. We executed search warrants. He helped provide information. Reggie had a game plan, and he made it very, very clear that he wanted to take over Death Row Records. Make no mistake about that.
But I'm going to add something to that. We were also instructed to lie. Suge called the meeting. All the artists were instructed to come to this meeting, and certain security was invited, and I happened to be one of them. And when I got into the meeting, it was a meeting the meeting was basically about what happened. And the reason we were instructed to lie was because Reggie Wright told us not to carry any weapons. So by me just looking at what Reggie told me, I'm thinking that Mr. Knight was unaware.
A street code to not tell the police. But why would you lie to your attorney? Maybe you wouldn't. As long as the name Orlando Anderson was in the news and the media, this is real convenient for Reggie Wright because no one's asking him about his culpability.
It's probably in your best interest that we move on to something else. You can trust me or don't trust me. It's not, because it's, you know what, it's no skin off my back. But I think we can now agree that, yes, you have met with me. Yes, you have talked with me. Yes, I met with your father. Yes, I know your background.
Then Gaddafi came up to me and Gaddafi said, "Lo." I said, "What happened?" Gaddafi said, "Lo, it was a white Cadillac." And he said, "Man, it was a light-skinned dude, looked something like you. Lo stuck his hand out the window and started busting." This is what Gaddafi told me. And the reason why I remember it so good, because he said, "Lo, he was light-skinned like you."
Anderson maybe he was a shooter, but he wasn't behind it. What is your theory?
I believe Randall Anderson was some kind of pawn. I do believe it was conspiracy. That's why there's all this confusion.
Amen. Amen.
You know, it was meant to be confusing. You dig? So it wasn't no accident. Even if I would have different feelings, even if it was, you know, some straight up gang bang gangster shit. And I don't think it was that. You know?
Go check out Tupac cover up. And everybody that check that shit out, go to Vlad. Vlad, you've been hiding these people. You've been supporting these people that has gotten away with killing Pac and Big. Suge Knight said you solve one, you'll solve both. And the person that's in both of those equations is Reggie. He knows he's helping Caden, he's helping Reggie, he's helping them niggas with them lies about Pac and Big's case. He know he's helping them because there are people, FBI agents, other detectives and FBI agents who are pointing the blame on Reggie and Caden, that he won't even have them on their show. Ask him why he never had Phil Carson on his show.
My recruitment by the FBI was very efficient, very simple, really. I'd stolen a car and went joyriding over the state limit, and they had a potential case against me, and I was looking for an opportunity to work it off. And a couple of months later, that opportunity came when FBI agent Roy Mitchell asked me to go down to the local office of the Black Panther Party and try to gain membership.
The FBI wanted to destroy the Panthers. They absolutely saw the Panthers as the vanguard of a very, very threatening and violent revolutionary movement. They absolutely wanted this organization to be destroyed.
Niggas think that getting shot and getting locked up makes you liken to Pac. You got another thing coming. You know what I mean? Like, you got to understand the whole foundations of a Tupac and the spirit and the heart and the love that he had for black people.
He was a Black Panther.
Right. So, and all that thug life was a strategy, is what people don't understand. It was a strategy. You know, if you want to be like Pac, if you want it to feel like Pac, then you have to have that component in your arsenal. You got to have a certain passion, you know what I mean? A certain dedication to wanting to see your people free.
Black people, or for people who want to come to a better understanding on how things really are, then they did a good job. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to see the true picture. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if he feels uncomfortable. Because what about when I felt uncomfortable for 400 years? You know what I'm saying? Then now all of a sudden it's bad to talk about some real. Anytime somebody pulls a trigger or there's any kind of gunshot, everybody starts running for cover. But everybody's really doing all this shooting in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Conscious stuff and the big that's violence to me. That's real violence. What we're talking about is street violence. All this it happens in the streets, but it's not violence. Is not violence. You know what I'm saying? It's a virtual world that we're creating. So we tell these stories, you know what I'm saying? And they tend to be violent because our world tends to be filled with violence. Black male. You know, okay, the cops beating on you. You have a choice. Violence to defend yourself, you know what I'm saying? Turn the other cheek or wait for the news cameras to come and talk about it.
Like Rodney King.
Like Rodney King. I'm talking about doing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm really, it's happened to me. The police beat me up in the middle of the street for no reason. Just simply because I cursed at them. Because they were harassing me and I cursed at them. Now they beat me up. Cameraman, all of this is scars I'll go to my grave with.
I can see
These are
it.
learn to be a nigga scars. That's what
Who
these
did that
be.
to you?
Oakland Police Department. All above my eye, all of that.
Why?
And I pay their salaries. Because I was an outspoken young black man.
Said I don't write songs about cop killing.
But it did have the lyrics
don't
in
six
there.
of the songs on your album mention cop killing? No.
Oh,
They
that's
don't.
not true.
No.
That
All my
is
songs
not
talk about
true.
police brutality and self-defense. Now that's something different.
If we're going to talk about police, this man over here is in a really rough area, and he puts his life on the line every day.
I got so much respect for him for that, but look, we have to live in the same neighborhoods without bulletproof vests, without backup, without walkie-talkies, without guns, without tear gas, without pepper spray, without batons. So now we have to fix the problem.
Pac knew that media is a machine that you either work with it or against it, so he worked with it.
These people don't see it every day.
No, but what I would like to see is for children in our country to have a better future than what you guys have. And that's not going to happen when he's repressing his generation and his people by saying they have no hope.
What do you know about my people?
Pac would have went down in history, arguably, had he gotten his mind right in time. He could have arguably went down in history as the greatest revolutionary to ever walk American soil. Greater than Malcolm, greater than King, greater than Huey. Because he had the money, he had the presence, and he had the followers. The Panthers had the numbers, but they didn't have the money. Black Liberation had the soldiers. They didn't have the money or the platform. Tupac had the money, the platform, and the spirit. He had to go.
I'll tell you what case I looked at that really made me kind of change my opinion. I said, I never knew that. So when I was doing the Tupac case, right, I was like writing about it, I was gathering everything, and I started
We were talking about the rape charge, okay.
And the reason why I answer you like that is because that's what I thought it was. I thought it was a rape charge, but it wasn't. And that's the thing, like when everyone thinks about what did Tupac go to jail for, they're like, oh, he went to jail for rape. No. But that wasn't the charge. That wasn't what he was convicted of, right? So he goes to court, but the media played it out like it's rape. And so when Tupac went to jail, I remember because I was watching all the news. It was, oh, he went to jail for rape. And that was not what happened. But what they found him guilty of was like, oh, he groped her. When they want you, they're going to get you some kind of way.
She walks through Havana streets. She is just another shopper. She passes almost unnoticed by Cubans. Her name is Assata Shakur. In the United States, she is known by the police and FBI as Joanne Chesimard, one of the nation's most wanted fugitives. Wanted for what police describe as the cold-blooded execution of a New Jersey state trooper back in the 70s. She denies it and says of the state cops,
they want to just kill me. They want to see me dead.
Chesimard was convicted in the killing of Trooper Werner Foster and the wounding of another trooper in a furious shootout on the New Jersey Turnpike in East Brunswick. That's where Chesimard was wounded, and one of two men in the car with her was killed. The other later captured. Police say that after Trooper Forrester was shot down, his own gun was ripped from his holster and 2 bullets were fired into his brain. After her capture in that deadly shootout, she was sentenced to life in prison. In 1979, with the help of 3 armed men, she broke out of the women's prison in Clinton, New Jersey.
She made her break this afternoon from the prison in Clinton, New Jersey, and lawmen once called her the soul of the Black Liberation Army.
Chesimard went underground and then surfaced in the 1980s in Cuba under Fidel Castro's protection. Now, at 50 and a grandmother, she agreed to talk with me in Havana. Chesimard, or Assata Shakur, insisted she had killed no one and was railroaded by an all-white jury and by what she called racist New Jersey state troopers.
Did you shoot Werner Foster?
No, I did not. I was shot with my arms in the air, then shot again in the back, and then left on the ground to die.
It's cold, it's snow on the ground. Me and Afeni went to Jasmine's apartment, and Tupac is sitting on the couch holding a rifle. And he got "fuck the world" written across his face, and there's a tear coming down. There was a force around him. I have seen a demon as if it was on his shoulder. Tupac was so depressed that he said, look, I'm not gonna turn myself in. Then he's saying to the boys, this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna take me in the Cadillac. You're gonna drive me someplace. I'm gonna smoke a lot of weed. And then tell Matulu that one of us got away. I cried my guts out. I cried my guts out at the utter despair that I see my nephew in.
Just can't take it out here no more.
He was talking about killing himself.
I feel like I'm losing it and I want to die.
I think that Tupac was really tired He was tired of fighting, tired of being vilified, tired of being called things that he knew inside himself he was unable to be, you know. I think he was just tired, and, you know, he had a right. Basically, he had a right, and I couldn't change it. As a mother, it's the worst bad thing. You're powerless. Can't change it, can't make it right, can't fix it for my baby, you know. So, you know, I wish he was here every day. But I don't want him to be unhappy. And I know that my son was, he chose his life, and he chose, you know, in the end, he chose to leave quietly. And I think I can leave him alone.
I talked to brother Tupac, the youngster, 2 days before he was killed. The rift between me and Biggie, that ain't real. He said, they're creating that. But here's the next thing he said to me. He said, Prof, what me and Biggie want to do is take control of distribution of rap music. I said, oh boy, do you know what you're going up against? Do you understand the organized criminal networks you're going up against and the two major ethnic groups that run it? He said, yeah, we do. I said, but you and Biggie can't do no shit like this. He said, we're not alone. We are organizing other young rappers. And he was dead within 48 hours of that conversation I had with him. You heard Michael Jackson calling some people up. He was trying to tell you. Sam Cooke was calling him out before Sam was murdered. He was trying to tell us way back then, 1964. But we haven't been listening because we didn't have enough people in this thing to really see. But history will erase the mystery.
To me, it's like everybody's scared of the government, you know what I'm saying? Because they killed Tupac and they killed Biggie Smalls. I don't care what y'all say, that's my seeing. Who cares? I'm just letting y'all know, y'all could be afraid of the government all y'all want to. Y'all been afraid of the government for 29 years. Y'all ain't telling me I was Jesus, so it's okay. I love you. Don't, you know, don't understand. I'm just letting y'all know all that afraid of the government stuff, you know what I'm saying? That's dead in my life.
That's just how it is. I can't explain nothing but tell you the government is out to assassinate me and get it over with. That's it, period.
I just wanted to know if you've learned anything new in jail while you were in jail, or how so?
Government, man. I don't know, G. They on my ass. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to shake these cats. You know what I'm saying? These are the big cats. This is President Bush and them niggas, right? You know what I'm saying? Niggas on my ass, G. For real, G. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no smiles, G. You know what I mean? You don't see me grinning at for shit, G. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, G, I got to shake these niggas.
I'm not crazy at all, okay? Everybody always saying that Dirty is crazy. Dirty is not crazy at all. Dirty just foresee a lot that a lot of people don't foresee.
I wouldn't be surprised if his name wasn't on the list. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if my name ain't on the list, you know what I mean? With the whole Wu-Tang, you know what I mean? You know, we different. And sometimes in this country, you different and you speak different, you stand out for something different, you stand up for yourself, they put you on the list. Dirty was that kind of man. He wanted real freedom. He expressed real freedom. So I don't doubt that somebody was on his case. I don't doubt that somebody was ever trying to hurt him. I don't doubt that people was watching him.
Pac was a powerful nigga too. Pac knew about all that shit. Why you think they murdered that nigga? It wasn't no rap war. It wasn't because he jumped that nigga Orlando. No. That's a motherfucking lie. The government killed Pac. The feds had something to do with it. They set that nigga up. And they had something to do with Biggie getting killed too. And then they tried to make it look like a rap war. Yo, if Pac was still alive, we would be on the same.
What's up, everyone? Hope you're liking the video. This one is all about bringing some real context to why some people think the government could have had something to do with taking Pac out. As you've seen, he was connected to a lot of figures that were heavily targeted by the government. He literally had the movement in his DNA. Pac wasn't just a fan of the Black Panthers, he was seen as a Black Panther himself, raised by the very leaders the FBI feared most. His mother, Afeni, was part of the Panther 21. His stepfather stepfather, Muchalu, was a freedom fighter who ended up on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list, and his godfather, Geronimo Pratt, was a high-ranking Panther targeted by the FBI's infamous COINTELPRO program and framed for a crime he didn't commit. When you see that the government spent decades trying to dismantle his immediate family, it makes you realize the surveillance on Pac never actually stopped. It's wild to know the FBI was constantly around death row records. The feds were building a massive RICO racketeering case against the label, investigating them for drug trafficking and money laundering, treating the company like a mob family. And with Reggie Wright allegedly being an FBI informant, it really makes you wonder. We've seen how the FBI used informants in the past. Could Reggie Wright be another William O'Neal? Remember, William O'Neal was the infamous FBI informant who infiltrated the Black Panthers and set up Chairman Fred Hampton to be assassinated by the police in 1969. Reggie Wright had the ultimate cover. His own father was the head of the Compton police gang unit, while Reggie Jr. ran security for the most dangerous record label on earth. It created a deep Paranoia dynamic. But here is the real kicker that proves the feds were inside the room. While Reggie Wright has always denied the snitch rumors, another death row bodyguard named Kevin Hackey actually admitted under oath in a federal court case that he was a literal FBI informant the entire time he worked security for Pac. I can't say enough to make it make sense. But when you look at the history, it's clear the feds had eyes inside Pac's circle, whether it was a direct government hit or they just stood back and let street rivals eliminate a powerful political voice. They already hated. The fingerprints of federal surveillance are all over this tragedy. That is going to wrap it up for this video. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has been rocking with the channel and supporting the vision, and a huge special welcome to all of the new subscribers who just joined the community. It's amazing to have you here as we keep growing this network. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.